I love Botox. People are like, what do you ask for when you go in? I'm like, I just go in, I'm like, me up, fam. I don't want to see any movement. Like, if I can move my eyebrow a quarter of an inch, I'm suing. So just pump me full of it. What parts of your face? I'm like, everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere the light touches is Botox.
It won't hurt a bit.
Ah, Botox. The secret to eternal youth. Wrinkle-free skin. So quick and easy, you can do it on your lunch break.
I got my first Botox cosmetic treatment on a lunch break, literally on our lunch break. And I went right back to work afterwards.
Heck, you can even do it yourself.
So when I was on holiday, I had reason to go to the chemist. And in the pharmacist shop, they were selling Botox kits that you could buy and bring home and do it yourself Botox.
So today I'm going to be giving myself some Botox because I have one wrinkle here. I am not a professional, so I'm gonna be going in my forehead. Insert. I'm gonna do one here.
Suitable for adults.
Honey, you finally got Botox.
Children.
We met a pageant mom who says her 8-year-old complains about wrinkles, so that mother injects her face with Botox.
You know, a lot of the moms there are there giving their kids Botox.
Can you show me where you do it? Can you point on your face?
Yeah, sometimes I do it right here.
Well, do you do it because you see wrinkles, or?
Oh yeah, I see like wrinkles, and I just like don't like think wrinkles are nice for little girls.
What does it feel like to get Botox?
It hurts.
Do you cry?
A little.
Does it look better after you get Botox?
Yeah, it looks way better.
Carrie says her daughter sees flaws in her appearance.
I know that she was complaining about her face having wrinkles and things like that. I do the Botox myself.
Do you worry about long-term effects of Botox? In her, 8 years old?
Do I worry about it? I can't say I really worry about it, no.
And even your favorite furry pet.
Would you believe dogs are actually getting doggy Botox?
What? Safe and effective, and if there's any real side effects, we won't tell you about them because that could impact our bottom dollar.
Adiga Yutan River says it was the first time she'd had Botox, but that afternoon, the mother of one says she was hospitalized.
My tongue started swelling up, my lips started swelling up, I felt tingly all over my face, and I was sweating and wasn't able to see or hear properly.
This is a snapshot of severe adverse events after using Botox. 3 days after receiving 20 units of cosmetic Botox from a London-based clinic, Carolina experienced catastrophic adverse events. Her symptoms began with racing heart and panic attacks, which progressed to severe neurological issues. She experienced difficulty with comprehension, speaking, followed by stroke-like symptoms, extreme fatigue, muscle weakness, daily seizures, and finally leg paralysis.
And as a billion-dollar industry, we wouldn't want that. Is it any wonder that billions of women worldwide have fallen for the Botox lie? When 21-year-olds think they're old.
Kate Hockley has a perfect face.
I've had it here, I get it across my brow.
But at 21, she thinks she's looking old. Dozens of Botox injections to prevent wrinkles she doesn't yet have.
21 is old. My idea of the ideal age would probably be about 18 or 19.
And unscrupulous plastic surgeons prey on teenagers that normal human facial expressions, bad. Botox, good.
Young women and a startling new trend turning to Botox before they can even legally buy a drink. What 20-year-old Heidi Huff wants to fix are the premature lines she sees when she looks in the mirror.
I actually didn't even notice my wrinkles until somebody pointed it out to me, and then I really noticed it.
These are not lines. They are not wrinkles. If you have a forehead and you raise your eyebrows, your forehead skin is going to crease. It is the way faces work.
You know, they're actually starting to get etched in.
That's why she turned to Beverly Hills plastic surgeon and extra life changer Dr. Randall Hayworth for Botox.
Dr. Randall Hayworth here, he knows that full well, but he's not going to make money off little Heidi here as a client if he tells her that. So instead, what he does is he confirms Heidi's fears that at the age of 20, she is getting ingrained forehead lines, increase her insecurity, and tell her that in his professional opinion, those very normal, very natural forehead creases are wrinkles that are starting to get etched in.
You know, they're actually starting to get etched in.
Cue Heidi spending her hard-earned money money on getting Botox at the age of 20 for wrinkles she doesn't even have.
The youngest client I've ever done was 18 years old. We send them off to war and they can kill people. So I certainly think that at the age of 18, they can decide whether they don't like their wrinkles or not.
And it's not just impressionable young women like Heidi who are falling for this preventative Botox scam. I know I certainly did. Okay, so probably the next most controversial thing I've had done would be Botox. I'm 27, by the way. I'm not a young person, so I think that I can get Botox if I want Botox. I can get Botox because I'm 27 and I'm almost 30. Now, obviously, I don't get Botox anymore. I mean, seriously, guys, look at these. And these. And these! But for those of you who are still being hoodwinked by the Botox lie, hate to break it to you, but based on new research on Botox, we now know that not only is preventative Botox not going to stop you aging, it's actually going to make you look older faster. Whilst you've been dutifully having your Botox injected into your face for months and years on end, you're actually causing your face to age faster. And listen, no judgment from me. I've been there. I've done it. So how is it possible that preventative Botox can make you look older? You would think that if you start getting Botox young before you really develop wrinkles, you'll basically prevent them from starting, and thus you'll look younger for longer. And who wouldn't want that? Sign me up. But there's one very important fact that people seem to forget. It's not just wrinkles that makes people look older. What really makes people look older is the sagging and drooping of their facial skin and muscles. Think of a 90-year-old woman compared to a 30-year-old woman. The 30-year-old looks younger than the 90-year-old, right? I mean, yes, the 30-year-old has a few wrinkles, but her face is firm and upright because her facial muscles are strong. They are holding her face where her face is supposed to be. Compare the 30-year-old's face to the 90-year-old's face, and whilst this lady is a beauty to be sure, her facial muscles aren't as strong as they once were, and subsequently, her muscles can't hold her face up where it used to be, and her face has drooped, bringing her skin and the rest of her facial features with it. Given that the beauty standards of 2024 mean that women are not allowed to show any signs of aging,
Blake Lively has been trolled online for looking too old. A lot of fans are coming out saying that she doesn't look 22 anymore and she actually looks older than her real age, and she already looks like she's in her 40s.
A sagging face is bad news. Which brings us back to preventative Botox. Hate to break it to you guys, but they scammed you with that one.
I got tricked.
Preventative, or baby Botox as it's affectionately known, may well stop wrinkles from forming, but that is not a good thing. When you get Botox injected into your muscles, it works by interfering with the neural communication between your nerves and your muscles, which in English means that when you're injecting Botox into your facial muscles, you are literally purposely paralyzing those muscles so that your brain can't communicate with them and they can't move. Therefore, the younger you start getting Botox, the better, right?
Listen to me, you're wrong.
This is what your face looks like under your skin. A complex web of muscles and tendons that all work together to enable you to make facial expressions like smile and laugh and look angry and surprised. And they're also what is holding your face up. These are the areas that your Botox is being injected into, straight into that muscle. And due to that complex web of muscles under your facial skin, if your injector is even a millimeter off target, at worst you can end up looking like this poor girl who had Botox done the day before her wedding and then lost the ability to smile. Look at this smile.
I went to go get Botox for my wedding and I got it in my chin, and apparently someone seeped into my muscle right here. So when I was smiling, it was like this. Anyways, so my esthetician's like, hey, let's even it out and let's put it on both sides so it's even at least, so I don't have a janky smile, but
Hey guys, this is just me having a meltdown. I get married tomorrow and the smile, trying to make jokes out of it and play it off or whatever. I don't think it's funny anymore.
Or influencer Whitney Booha, who had her routine Botox injection just that little bit off target, and next thing she knew, she went from looking like this to this.
Imagine getting Botox injections at your local med spa and ending up looking like this?
It started with just a routine Botox appointment. So I typically go about twice a year and focus on my forehead lines and the 11 lines in between my eyes.
What happened was they went outside these magical lines. And if you go beyond that, what happened? They got into that muscle that specifically lifts that upper eyelid and a really odd, crazy appearance.
Or at best, you might simply end up looking like Spock.
It's like it's frozen or something.
Oh, this?
I got a BOTOX injection today.
Not ideal, but not the end of the world. I think Kylie Jenner, for one, learned this lesson the hard way when it appears that her Botox injector became just a little bit too enthusiastic and made her look both angry and Spock-like in equal measure. But all that seems tame in comparison to Botox causing your facial muscles to atrophy. Think about what happens to a muscle that you never move. What happens is that over time you begin to lose strength and muscle tone because muscles that you never use become weak. And weak muscles begin to sag and waste away, which for your face is not good news. Sagging and weakening facial muscles is going to lead to sagging and weakening facial skin, which isn't going to make you look younger, it's going to make you look older. And it's basically the opposite of what you want when you're paying someone to inject your muscles with Botox. Fair enough, you may not get wrinkles, but the trade-off is a droopy, sagging face caused by the Botox. Look what happened to YouTuber Amy when she had regular injections of Botox to slim her masseter muscles.
I've always had a really round, full face and prominent jawline. So when I learned that you could do Botox into your jawline to make your face look more feminine and oval, I was like, sign me up! But when it comes to using Botox for facial contouring, you have to wait for the muscle to atrophy. You have to wait for the muscle to atrophy.
That's not good.
I was shocked. After my last treatment, a month or two passed, and I started to notice severe hollowing of my face. I'm talking severe. Like, I looked gaunt. Here's a photo. Check this out. This is me. My face kept getting thinner and hollower. It was almost indented because the muscle had completely atrophied, almost down to like nothing. I could feel the bone back here. It can't get any worse than that. Well, I'm here to tell you it did get worse, and it got a lot worse. My face is so thin and hollow. My masseter muscle has completely atrophied down to nothing on both sides. And now my skin on the lower half of my face begins to sag.
And not only is the regular use of Botox not going to keep you looking younger for longer, but may actually make you look older quicker, the repeated paralyzing of your facial muscles can actually cause your body to break these muscles down and reabsorb them. I'm going red. This is how concerned I am about this topic. Like, have you ever seen an arm or a leg that's been in a cast for a long time? Because the person can't move the limb that's been in the plaster cast, the muscle in that limb that's not being moved gets so weak that sometimes it can even waste away. So if you compare that limb that's been in the cast to the muscles in a limb that has been used and has been active, you'll see exactly what I mean. It's pretty damn concerning, and not something your Botox injector has likely warned you about. I mean, they may not even know themselves.
Your muscles can atrophy over time. That means they can shrink and weaken. Think about it. If you don't use a muscle or work that muscle, it shrinks. This can give your forehead a bony look where your skin looks thin and the veins can look more prominent, and you will look much older. This is a very aged appearance. Really thin skin with a very thin atrophied muscle layer sitting right on top of your bony forehead.
I dare say this is a good illustration of what Marin means. Kylie Jenner is only 27, and yet her forehead is showing what appears to be the effect of too much Botox in someone who is too young. See that shiny, overly taut appearance with the prominent bone showing underneath? Though she's clearly beautiful, I truly think that Kylie would likely look younger now had she never tweaked her face to begin with.
It is sold as a way of preventing wrinkles. So preventative Botox is a little bit of a risky idea. Now the truth is you'll lose a bit of muscle volume. You can actually look older when you have Botox younger because of the lost volume.
The problem is, not only is preventative Botox being marketed towards younger and younger women, it's actually causing them to age faster, but it's also causing their faces to morph and change in obscure ways.
And in some people, even up to 21, their face changes. And when you don't let the facial muscles, the facial symmetry evolve by itself. Use Botox, for example. It paralyzes the muscle, but what happens is, especially in very young individuals, the other muscles start carrying the weight. If you look at people who have been using Botox in their early 20s, what you'll notice is they have very unnatural lines around their cheeks. There's nothing that we can do to treat those.
I mean, at least Dr. Tim Pierce is honest when he says injectors use the term baby Botox as a marketing tool.
Baby Botox, or preventative Botox, which is a hot topic on TikTok. There are over 4.3 million videos on this topic. So this may not be something that patients want to hear, but essentially I think baby Botox is basically a marketing term. It is a story that we tell that enables patients to feel a little bit more comfortable with having Botox at a younger age. Sounds like something that's a little bit less threatening, a little bit less invasive, a little bit less extreme, a slightly gentle result. If you ask a 28-year-old who's having Botox, she probably feels more comfortable telling her friends that it's baby Botox.
Makes a lot of sense from a marketing standpoint, but not very ethical when you're literally ruining women's faces. And it gets worse. If you've had Botox in the past or currently have Botox, what I'm about to tell you is probably going to horrify you. You know how the powers that be advise pregnant women to steer clear of cured deli meats like ham and sausage, and infants under the age of 1 to strictly avoid honey? Well, that's because honey and deli meat have been known to be contaminated with the deadly bacteria Clostridium botulinum. Now, what the hell does bacteria have to do with Botox? Well, Clostridium botulinum produces one of the most deadly toxins known to man. Botulinum toxin. Sound familiar? It should, because this deadly toxin is exactly what we are paying people to inject into our faces under the brand name Botox.
Botox, is it safe? Before your next treatment, you may want to listen to what this doctor has to say.
You actually know what Botox is. It's botulinum toxin A. It's produced by bacteria and it can cause paralysis and death if you have too much of it. There's places in America where they had the tinned food and it had gone off and people that ate the tinned food actually died. When you're injecting small amounts into your body, of course it's at a safer level, but your body is not going to want to live that in forever, so it has to detox from it. And then during that detox pathway, it's causing damage in all the cells and stuff that it's touching as it's going through because it's paralyzing it. It disrupts the thyroid gland and it disrupts the neurological cells. That's actually being proven now in research.
Of course, we have been assured that Botox is both safe and effective. After all, it's been around for years. Millions upon millions of people get it injected into their faces on the reg, so of course it's safe. But is it really? Botox was first approved by the FDA in 1989 for use in treating eye disorders. And that's only 35 years. Botox is younger than I am. So how can we possibly know for certain that repeatedly injecting this deadly toxin into our facial muscles is safe long term? I mean, it would be a rare occurrence that someone gets a Botox injection and then immediately drops dead. But what about the girlies who get their Botox done every 3 to 4 months in multiple areas of their face like they are advised to do for years on end?
While we do believe that Botox is safe due to extensive studies with short-term use, we don't have extensive studies on long-term safety data in individuals who get Botox repeatedly for 10, 20, or 30 plus years. And with the trend now being preventative Botox and the encouragement for people to start in their 20s, this should be a real concern.
I'm sensing that we may have a little trouble in the future. I mean, after all, here we all are, smugly laughing at the Victorian women who used toxins like wafers made out of arsenic, which is literally rat poison and can kill you immediately, because they thought it made their eyes look brighter and their skin more translucent. And take note that these arsenic wafers were advertised as safe. They would also add drops of belladonna into their eyeballs to dilate their pupils and make their eyes look bigger. They just overlooked the fact that belladonna is literally poison and repeated use would render the woman blind.
I thought, oh my God, I'm losing my eyesight, something's wrong.
Botox.
In the face, you're 1 millimeter away from a disaster.
Annie Grenslide says she's been having Botox for years. A week after the treatment, Annie says she began to lose her eyesight.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It seems as though not much has changed in a few hundred years, and us girls are still quite literally poisoning ourselves in the pursuit of beauty. So considering the fact that Botox is quite literally a neurotoxin, and human bodies don't really like toxins, and it's kind of your body's job to expel toxins so you don't die, this can lead to a rather frustrating Botox side effect. Unlike fillers, which we were told were temporary, but it turns out they actually weren't.
You know, traditionally we've been told that dermal fillers last around 6, 12, maybe 18 months if you're lucky. And what these MRIs are showing is that the filler is lasting for a lot longer than we think.
Botox, on the other hand, actually is temporary. And so, if you want to keep the wrinkles at bay, you need to keep those facial muscles paralyzed. And so, you need to get repeat Botox injections every few months.
I do recommend, if you really want to maintain your beautiful results and maintain that youthful glow and prevent those wrinkles from getting deeper into the skin, I do suggest that you do come back every 3 to 4 months for maintenance.
What happens with these repeat injections of the same toxin is that after a while, your body's like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? I keep being exposed to this same toxin over and over again. This is not good for me. I better do something about this. And so your body, which bear in mind is incredibly wise, will develop antibodies to Botox in an attempt to try and protect you from the toxin. So if you're wondering why the first couple of times you had Botox, the effect was really dramatic and it lasted a really long time. And over time, the more Botox injections you've had, the effect isn't as noticeable. And you feel like you need to get it more often because the effects are wearing off quicker. It's more than likely your body has developed antibodies to the Botox toxin. So the next time you go and get your Botox injection, instead of seeing great facial freezing results, those little antibodies are there, ready and waiting to neutralize the botulinum toxin so that it can't affect you. That's right, guys. You can literally become immune to Botox.
That you can actually become immune to Botox. Yes, it's everyone's worst nightmare.
This is so clever of your body, but also very frustrating. If you are paying for Botox to be injected into your facial muscles to paralyze them, but your body doesn't realize that you're actually doing it on purpose, and your body's like, don't worry girl, I got you. I'm gonna create antibodies to this toxin so it can't affect you. And you're like, no, please don't. I actually want it to affect me. That's the whole point. Regardless, the result is your Botox stops working. Your body has quite literally overpowered it, and you can get as many injections of botulinum toxin as you want, and it will have no effect.
Did you know that you can develop antibodies to Botox? Patients will come in and say, the Botox didn't work this time. Beware, you may develop a tolerance to Botox and it will not maintain its effectiveness. This is real.
Now, in my unprofessional opinion, I think it's quite clear that I am neither a scientist nor a plastic surgeon, but a very small amount of research will show you that we are not using Botox now the way it was designed to be used. And I think this is part of the reason why instead of making us look younger, it's actually causing us to age more rapidly. We're using it incorrectly. As humans, we're designed to have the ability to frown when we're angry, to smile when we're happy. And smiling isn't just your mouth, it's not just baring your teeth. When you truly smile, it shows in other areas of your face. Your eyes light up, your face crinkles in delight, hence laughter lines. This is literally part of human communication. Kim and Kylie are the perfect examples of Botox gone wrong. Like, what is this? This is not a real smile. It doesn't reach her eyes. It's hard to even tell if she's grimacing in pain or laughing. This is the eerie effect of artificially altered human expression. I mean, poor Kim can't even cry properly. Her entire face is paralyzed, and the only part of her skin that can actually move to convey that she's in distress is those tiny little lines creasing on her eyelids that you literally need a magnifying glass to see. And the fact that we are so willingly and so enthusiastically trying to erase that, it's kind of scary.
How much can you move your face?
I can move this part, not really my forehead.
Can you frown? Go on.
No, don't make me get angry at you.
You can't frown, can you?
No.
Go on, try hard.
The fear of wrinkles and the normalization of Botox has become so bloody rampant that women will rush back to their cosmetic injector anytime they notice that they have the ability to frown again, or raise their eyebrows, or look angry, or smile with their eyes.
I don't want to see any movement. Like, if I can move my eyebrow a quarter of an inch, I'm suing. So just pump me full of it. What parts of your face? I'm like, everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere the light touches is Botox.
They think that the goal of Botox and the way to ward off wrinkles is to have a face that is totally unmovable. But the unfortunate truth is they are very, very wrong. And this is where our use of Botox has become warped. Think of a child. When they laugh, their whole faces crease up. When they're angry, boy, do you know about it with their cranky little faces. And you don't get much more youthful than a literal child. A frozen face, on the other hand, it doesn't look more youthful. It doesn't look younger. To be honest, it just looks kind of strange.
I think patients are beginning to perceive normal movement as a problem. Your face is not just about looking beautiful, it's actually a communication device.
And here's the thing, there are two different kinds of wrinkles. One kind, Botox, is designed to prevent, and the other, you actually want to keep. Have you heard of the term static wrinkles? Dynamic wrinkles? No? Well, me either until this video. But it turns out Botox was never designed to permanently paralyze your face. Botox was intended to prevent the development of static wrinkles. Static wrinkles are different to dynamic wrinkles. Static wrinkles are the wrinkles that you see on 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, the wrinkles that are etched into the skin even when the person isn't pulling a facial expression. Dynamic wrinkles, on the other hand, is what you get when you smile, or you frown, or you raise your eyebrows. They're the wrinkles that you get when you're pulling a face. And then when you relax, they're basically gone. And here's where we're going so wrong with Botox. You don't want to freeze your facial muscles to the point that you can no longer make dynamic wrinkles. You don't want to paralyze your face to the extent that you can no longer make normal human facial expressions. That is not youth. That is not beauty. And it's this obsession with not being able to move our faces properly that is leading us to inject too much Botox too often, which leads to, you guessed it, muscle atrophy and muscle wastage, which then leads to a drooping, heavy face that your facial muscles can no longer support. After all, if you can't move your face and you can't move those muscles, and those muscles weaken, they do not have the physical strength to hold up your facial skin, and therefore your face begins to droop. So okay, you may not have wrinkles, but the alternative, if you're trying to prevent the signs of aging, is not great either. Oh, now this section, guys, really gets my ghoulies. If I wasn't red before, I'm gonna be red after this. Women's insecurities with aging is well known by the Botox industry. Not only do they capitalize on this insecurity and feed the monster, but they're actually subconsciously manipulating you with advertisements like this.
I've been getting treated with Botox Cosmetic for about 8 years.
Whoa. So this lady has been getting Botox for 8 years, every 3 to 4 months. Now, I'm no good at maths, but if I calculate that, that's about 32 separate sessions of Botox. That's a lot of neurotoxin going into one face. And bear in mind, guys, this is an official Botox brand advertisement. They are literally promoting this amount of injections as being normal. I mean, of course they are. It makes them more money. They don't care about what you look like or the health implications. They just want more money.
Now, give me money.
To smooth the look of my moderate to severe forehead lines, frown lines, and my crow's feet. It's a quick 10 to 15 minute treatment every 3 to 4 months that leaves me looking like myself, just with fewer lines. You can start to see my moderate to severe lines appearing since my last treatment 4 months ago.
I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing these moderate to severe lines that they speak of. This is severe lines. This is not severe lines. Please do not let these companies brainwash you into thinking that a woman that looks like this has moderate to severe lines.
Give me a break! The injections feel like just a little pinch, so nothing too painful. And just like that, we're done. The aftercare instructions my provider recommends are super easy too. No working out for the rest of the day and keeping your head elevated for 3 to 4 hours. After 30 days, the full results have set in and I'm happy with my treatment and the natural looking results. I can see such a difference and my friends agree that my forehead lines, frown lines, and crow's feet appear more smooth.
What the fuck? Yeah, so you know how they very briefly touch on the fact that you shouldn't work out after getting Botox? It's because if you work out or exercise, and that includes running for the bus after getting Botox injections, that can literally cause the Botox to spread throughout your face and body and paralyze other areas of your face and body.
What the fuck?
Don't you just love how they just casually brush over that fact? Like, you can literally end up with other areas of your face paralyzed for months on end, but they're just like, yeah, just don't work out for a few hours after you get the injection. It's fine. Oh, great.
The effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms.
Thanks for mentioning that. Care to elaborate? No? Okay, cool. And you know what aggravates me even more? The Botox industry has realized that it can make a lot of money off women's insecurities. But why would you just stop at women when you could also make men feel insecure about aging and make money off them too? Now the Botox industry isn't just targeting women, it's spreading its poison to men.
My name is Javi, I'm 31, I'm a fitness instructor, and I got Botox Cosmetic. I saw myself in a photograph, you know, living my best life. I was on a vacation and I was with my friends and we were on the beach and we were all smiling, and I looked closer and I was like, that's what everybody sees? The lines, just like in this video. The lines were so prominent, it's all I saw in the photograph. But now when I take photos and I see myself in photos, it's me, I just have fewer lines.
Lad, you don't need Botox, you need therapy. You've just said you were living your best life, smiling loads, and someone photographed you and captured the wonderful moment, but instead of printing that picture out and hanging it on your wall so that you can be reminded of that happy moment, all you're focusing on is your lines, which honestly, I can't even bloody well see. Okay, so I think that these are supposed to be the prominent lines that he speaks of, but mate, those aren't lines. That is simply, and quite literally, what a human face does when it smiles. Now guys, I don't want this video to be all doom and gloom, so in conclusion, I'm going to leave you with some strategies. If you have fallen victim to the lie that Botox will keep your face tight and youthful, don't feel bad. You're certainly not the only one. I fell victim to it too, and you can repair the damage, in most cases, that Botox does. If you stop getting Botox injected, it may take some time, but you will be able to regain the use of those facial muscles and rebuild their strength. And yes, that may mean that you end up having the ability to make facial expressions like frown, or be surprised, or look angry, smile with your eyes. You may develop wrinkles, but personally, I would rather take that over a permanently paralyzed face that is slowly wasting away. There's also so many natural ways to keep your face looking healthy and youthful for as long as possible. Eating a really good diet, I know it seems boring, it's not as easy as just getting an injection into your face, but eating a good diet, organic if it's in your price range, full of nourishing whole foods, drinking plenty of good quality water, and here's what I do, eating lots of vitamin C. If you eat vitamin C, it actually helps your body to synthesize the collagen, which in theory should keep you looking younger for longer. So that's what I do. Okay, you guys, this has been a very long video. If you've made it to the end of this video, first of all, thank you for putting up with me this long. Come and say hi on Instagram and leave me the lightning emoji. I'm going to respond with a hug emoji. I did this on one of my last videos and I thought maybe like 5 people would have made it to the end of the video because the video was like 30 minutes long. I was like, leave me an apple on Instagram if you got to the end of this video. I'm still getting apples today. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna leave this video here. I love your guts and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.